Jake got an insane amount of buffs in the most recent mid-season patch update, and now he's feeling like one of the strongest characters in the cast of Multiversus. Hey guys, Zen here with another toasty Multiversus guide, and today we're getting lumpy with all things Jake, starting with a quick character overview. This character's type is a bruiser and his fighting style is categorized as hybrid, meaning his moveset gives you options to finish off enemies on both vertical and horizontal planes. However, he doesn't have any ranged attacks. Instead, he has a really strong moveset that allows you to continually pressure and press opponents. And he can disrupt enemies with his signature perk Sticky, which stuns them. But speaking of perks, he's got two signature perks, the sticky one we just talked about and Stay Limber Dude, which allows Jake's house ability to bounce back into the air after hitting the ground. This perk is good to allow you to hit an enemy multiple times upon transforming, but that's pretty much it, which is why I recommend the sticky signature perk, since that makes Jake incredibly strong and the ability to stun enemies and stop their combos. For his universal perks, I think something like Press the Advantage works well with Jake's particular moveset that rewards constantly pushing and pressuring opponents. Airwalker, since Jake lacks any decent mid-air movement, and Pugilist, since all of your attacks are melee based. Now it's time for Jake's moveset, starting with his neutral attack. This attack breaks armor and is a powerful charge attack that you can use to finish off enemies with high enough damage. Next up is his dash attack, which is a 3-hit combo that moves you forward. Next is his jab, which is his combos that can also be used to extend horizontal combos. Then we got his up tilt, where Jake swings an axe overhead and can send enemies flying straight up, and can definitely be used as a finisher if you charge it long enough. Then we got his down tilt, which also breaks armor and is typically your go-to opener to start combos where you do charge to deal more damage. Now let's talk about his neutral special, which is where he eats other fighters. After Jake eats them, he stuns them and carries them around in his belly. Press the input again to aim and spit the fighters out. On enemies, they get maximum stacks of weaken debuff, and for allies, they gain armor. Spitting fighters out though turns them into projectiles as they spit out. A great move to use the grab attack to reposition enemies and apply a debuff. Next is his side special, which has him gallop on stage, closing any gaps between Jake and his enemies while also dealing damage. Next is his up special attack, where Jake stretches upwards. Enemies who touch his elongated body get knocked back. And while in his stretched form, only his head is targetable, leaving him pretty much resilient. Then we've got his down special, where he transforms into a house, bow, or car. You can also charge to stay transformed, and while transformed, any projectiles that would hit Jake are then reflected. Use this move to reflect all incoming projectiles. Additionally, you can hold the transformation while moving left and right to continue bouncing projectiles and controlling the stage. Now it's time for Jake's aerial attacks. His aerial neutral attack breaks armor, which is one of the best mid-air moves to push all nearby enemies away from him. Then he follows up with a hammer swing that can sometimes be pretty difficult to land. However, if you bounce the enemy off a platform or a wall, landing that hammer is so much easier to connect. Next is his aerial side attack, which is a straight punch that you can use to send your enemies flying. It's both chargeable and aimable that deals extra damage if it hits at the end of its stretch, which makes it a great finisher with that sweet spot. Then we've got his aerial up attack, which is great to launch enemies before starting your mid-air combos. Then we've got his aerial down attack, which can be used as an opener to hit enemies below you. If your third hit lands on the enemy, you will also deal a fire debuff. Next is his aerial neutral special, which is the same as his ground, where he eats other fighters. Then his aerial side special, which is also the same as his ground, galloping horse charging around the stage. Then his aerial up special, which is also the same as the ground, stretching upward and protecting his long body. And finally, his aerial down special, where it works similarly to the ground except for the fact that you can transform mid-air to then drop down on top of the enemies and send them flying. And now it's time for you to fly on out of here with Jake and get toasty in Multiversus. Check out one of these other guides here next for more, and as always friends, have fun and stay toasty.